Hi everyone, welcome to Excel Clinic. Are you finding an alternative to a proper accounting system? I bet these questions came across your mind. Can we maintain accounting ledger in Excel? The short answer is yes. I will talk about the long answers towards the end of this video. Before we go into the details, please subscribe to our channel. Follow me no OT. Turn on the notification so that you will not miss the next episode. Step 1. Plan. Before building a spreadsheet, we must plan. It is a mini program we're trying to build. What are the functions of our Excel accounting system? First, it must be able to produce a trial balance, balance sheet, and income statement. I will be showing the trial balance in this video. For balance sheet and income statement, you can refer to my previous video on automating the preparations of financial statements. Link in the video description. Second, we need an accounting ledger where we record the transactions, the breakdown, the details. These are the two basic things. To make this video more interesting, I will be adding another function, foreign currency conversion. Let's zoom in into the backbone of our accounting system here, the accounting ledger. It is essentially a database. What are the columns we need? The basic things. Date, GL account to facilitate summarizations of the transactions into different buckets, the reference number, the identifier that traces back to the supporting document, transaction descriptions, amount in functional currency. We are not going to split debit and credit into two columns. Debit will be in positive and credit in negative. Then the optional items, amount in document currency and the exchange rate. If you like to maintain consistency, I suggest a lookup table for the GL account, which is commonly known as chart of accounts. The chart of accounts would also serve as the mapping table for the balance sheet and income statement. Same for the exchange rate. If you want to maintain consistency and save your time retrieving the rate for each transaction, do an exchange rate table. Step 2. Let's do it. I usually start building a workbook from the output, but in this context, I will skip the output first. Firstly, the main output, trial balance, is a very straightforward report, GL account and the balance. Secondly, we will be building trial balance using pivot table, which require data first. Let's go to Excel. In the first worksheet, we will add the columns we need. I usually start with row 1, it is cleaner. Date, GL account. I'll be using a chart of accounts data, so this column will be the GL account code. We need another column for GL account descriptions. It is not necessary, but my preference, so that I know I entered the right account code. Reference number, transaction description, amount in functional currency, amount in document currency. We will need another column for document currency. Never enter more than one piece of data in a single cell. If we enter Euro 100 in a cell, you will not be able to perform any arithmetic calculations using this cell without complicated formulas. So the best practice is EUR in one column and the amount 100 in another. Finally, the exchange rate. Convert this to a table. Insert table. Remember to tick this checkbox. My table has headers. Change the table name to GL. The next worksheet, chart of account. I will be using the chart of accounts I used in this episode. Watch this video to find out more. Convert this to a table as well. Rename it to COA. One more worksheet, the exchange rate table. What you need is an effective date column, currency, and the rates. What makes a better spreadsheet? Consistency, consistency, and consistency. So, rates here should be all in the same code direction. Let me enter a few rates. The functional currency for this company is Sing dollar. Remember to enter SGD as well with the rate of 1. Convert it to a table and rename it X rate. Now, go back to the ledger. To enhance user experience, let's do a few settings. First, number format. The date column should be in the date format. GL account, reference number, transaction descriptions, and document currency should be in the text form. I skip the account description on purpose because I will be adding a functions to this cell later. Apply comma style to the amount and exchange rate. But for the exchange rate, I will usually add a few more decimal points. Enter a sample entry before we enter the formulas. GL account descriptions, we need to look up the GL code from the chart of accounts table. I will use XLOOKUP equal XLOOKUP. The first argument is the account code. This is how Excel refers to a column in a table. The second argument is the account code column in the chart of accounts. And the third argument is the GL account description. Next, the exchange rate. This is tricky. The lookup criteria are document, currency, and date. Different currency, different rate. Different date, different rate. This is what I call multi-criteria lookup. We talked about this in details previously. Watch this video. Again, I will use XLOOKUP. The first argument is the currency and date. The second argument is the currency and date, but in the exchange rate table. The third argument is the rate. We will skip the fourth, but we will enter for the fifth argument. Unless you are thinking of maintaining the rates every day in the exchange rate table, match mode is crucial. Enter -1. This allows users to set an effective date for a rate in the exchange rate table. Until a newer rate is entered, XLOOKUP will return the previous rate, which is the next smaller item. Then, the amount in functional currency. The amount in document currency will be multiplied or divided by the exchange rate. It depends on the code direction. So in this case, it will be multiplied by. One more thing, we can create a drop-down box for the account code. We have a list of account code in chart of account. We can use data validation. However, data validation in Excel cannot refer to the name of a table column. I do hope that Microsoft can address this in their next release. Hello, Microsoft. Until then, we need to create a helper name range. This is how we write the reference to a table column, or rather, Excel write. Copy this, go to Formulas, Name Manager, New. Give it a name, list underscore account code, and paste the table column reference here. Now, go to the GL table, select account code, and go to Data, Data Validation. Select List, enter the source. Here you go. It is done. Let me enter a few transactions. When you enter a new entry in the row immediately below table range, the table range will be extended automatically. Before we build the trial balance, let's define the data relationship. This simple step will allow you to build the trial balance easily later. Data relationship. Click New. Select the table GL. The related table is the master data, which is the chart of accounts. The columns define the identifier that links both tables together, the account code. Then insert pivot table from data model. The field pane looks different from the usual pivot table. Add account code, account descriptions, balance sheets, and profit and loss from the COA to row. There is another account descriptions in the GL table, but I prefer to use the one in the chart of accounts, just in case the XLOOKUP functions in the GL table were accidentally deleted or edited. Then the amount in functional currency to value. Do you like the layout of this pivot table? I don't. That is not the accountant style. Go to Design tab and change the report layout to tabular. There you go. I will stop here. If you want to know how to generate balance sheets and income statements, watch my previous videos on automating the preparations of financial statements. What is the long answer to the questions we had at the beginning of this video? Change the question slightly to should we. Should we maintain accounting ledger in Excel? It depends. We have to understand Excel's strengths and weaknesses. You are considering Excel instead of a proper accounting system, probably because we accountants love Excel. And for the first 2 points here, Excel is very flexible. Data can be updated quickly. No application control. Lower cost. The subscription cost for Office 365 is cheaper than many accounting systems. However, there are two main weaknesses of Excel that you need to consider. Lack of security is one. Excel does not provide adequate protections over data, computation logic, and access control. It is possible to address these weaknesses to a certain extent through VBA, but it involves quite a bit of coding. And with the controls, it will also mean that the workbook will no longer be agile. Next is the performance issue. It will be laggy when you have a large amount of data. The computation can be slow. So, if I may generalize, the Excel accounting system is not suitable if you need proper application controls or you have high transaction volume. That's all for today. Thumbs up to this video if you find it useful and share it with your fellow accountants. See ya.